Hi, everyone. My name is Punya Mall. I'm the product manager for Content Manager. As most of you would have heard me covering the earlier releases, I'll also be covering the 25.2 release. Right. So the first key feature for 25.2 release is our connector for open text intelligence. Magellan, it's the old name, popular name. And why did we choose to build a new connector for this product? If you have been using reporting on CM, you would know that we got a basic reporting page where you can drag and drop few fields, and you'll have to schedule this. You'll have to trigger this report manually each time. It's very basic in nature, and it works. It is good for basic use cases. When you can build the reports, it doesn't have a scheduling function, and so on. So this, of course, doesn't even have a dashboard inbuilt. So we have had reports where our users have been using different combinations. We have heard users using data port, exporting it into CSV print merge, using the Excel sort of a productivity suite from Microsoft to create reports. And there is also a sample connector for Power BI, which is free to use, but it's not really supported. It's just a sample connector. So we have users around different aspects using various methods to create reporting. But we felt that it's high time that we build something out of box, which not just gives you reporting, it gives you several other uh, supporting functions such as real-time reporting, scheduling reports, being able to create dashboards and numerous uh, graphs, pie charts, and things like that on top of it. We have another survey before we continue. This is where we want to understand if you are using reporting in your organization. So we
Yep,
got
so
four.
that's been posted. So we really just want to understand, are you using reporting capabilities or not? And if you are using CM built-in capabilities, or third-party tool, or a combination, including Excel to generate these reports.
Thanks, Ben. Okay, so the connector that we build is for an open text product called Open Text Intelligence. And although not my product, it is still something that I would like to talk about. And it's a huge product with different areas of AI analytics and data discovery. So Open Text Intelligence, or Magellan, to keep it simple, it's a scalable analytics and data visualization platform that integrates insights, AI-driven insights, interactive self-service reports, and dashboards into enterprise applications. It helps different business organization make data-driven decisions. It provides them visual insights and interactive dashboards. It helps them make better decisions. And when we compare this with some of the closest competitors, we have seen that Magellan has lots of granular integration APIs that allows seamless embedding into different enterprise applications. So in this case, what we are doing is working with Magellan BI and reporting as highlighted by the red square. So this is the area that we are using to create reports and dashboards. So what does the connector do? It enables seamless connectivity between Content Manager and Magellan, facilitating the design and generation of reports. It allows for easy report layout creation and configuration of Content Manager workgroup server datasets for use in reporting. So, like I mentioned earlier, it also allows scheduling, and it also gives the option of real-time report generation. It depends on the business decisions on how you want to create these reports. And of course, it has a good access control to provide granular access for group users and groups. All right.
Punya, before we get into the details, I know you have an amazing demonstration prepared for us today. I just want to make sure everyone understands that Open Text Intelligence, as Punya said, it's a separate product, and what we are bringing you here is a connector. But with your upgrade, you do get the license for Open Text Intelligence included for limited use, of course, with only CM as the data source. So this is an all-inclusive. If you upgrade, you'll get to use these features.
Thanks, man. So quickly, and again, we'll go through this each of this in a bit. So, like Gwen mentioned, the open text intelligence binaries are bundled as a separate binary, and it is available in Content Manager Support Portal. There are three binaries here, three EXs: Intelligence Designer, Intelligence, and Intelligence System Console. So, along with these binaries, there is a plugin which is bundled in the CM build. That's called CM Intelligence plugin. And there is a bundle license exclusively for Content Manager usage. So once download and installation is covered, we'll need to establish the connection. There are two methods which are supported. This should be familiar to anyone using Content Manager. That is a trusted authentication method, and then there is OpenID. Once that is done, we'll need to set up the data source in Magellan, create a new project, and then be able to create new reports, design reports, generate reports, and publish them. So all of these setup of data source design, generate, all of these happens in Magellan. And yes, of course, Magellan also supports importing the users from the LDAP source into Magellan so that you would be able to granularly give access to certain reports for those who wants to view this, and for those who do not have access, you can bar them from viewing the report. So all of that is possible in Magellan. Okay, so the first one was download and install. The screenshot that you see is for the Content Manager connector. So once you install the three different Magellan binaries, you will then need to install the connector, which will search for the binaries installs, and it will connect to it. The intelligent system console. So this is delivered by the OpenText Intelligence System Console EXE. This basically is used to import users from the LDAP Active Directory adapter, and it helps in general user management. So this is what we use to import the users into Magellan. The second install component is the Analytics Designer. It is delivered, it is installed when you install the designer binary. This helps you to design the reports, set the data source, and the Content Manager plugin that we saw, that is integrated with this component to design and generate the reports. The last one here is the iHub, the Information Hub iPortal, that is delivered when we install the OpenText Intelligence EXE. And this allows us to manage the published reports, and it also helps in applying access control and scheduling jobs. How do all of these come together? So basically, once we have installed the three EXEs, this is how they talk to the Content Manager workgroup server. So below, you can see the Intelligence Analytics Designer. This is where the Content Manager plugin is integrated, and it talks to the configuration of the service API, the authentication method. All of this happens by the service API to the workgroup server. Now, once the reports are designed in Intelligence Analytics Designer, we pass it to the iHub for publishing it. From then on, whether it is real time or it is scheduled, that configuration executes the save searches directly with CM workgroup server via the service API. So this is the overall idea of how the intelligence binaries and CM workgroup server works to create a report. Right. So part of the journey to create the reports, we need to define the data source, which basically is the service API for the CM workgroup server. And as I mentioned, it supports trusted user authentication and OpenID Connect. So once we are ready to create a data source, these are the endpoints, these are the information that we need to provide. The page size and the number of processing threads depends on how much bandwidth you would want Magellan to fetch the data and process the data within itself. So that depends on the search performance. If a particular search is not working properly, you can play with the size. You can increase the size to increase a bit of performance. Okay, so we have a short demo right here, but before that, I'll talk about what are we going to see in this demo. So we have two methods to create the reports. We can choose to create real-time reports, or we can choose to have a scheduled reports. The way this works is CM has save suches, which is basically a query that is saved. And this plugin, the Content Manager Connector plugin, can actually trigger the save search in Content Manager, fetch all the results, dump it into Magellan, and then create a report based on the Magellan data. The real-time reports are preferred when the save searches are small. It is not complex. It is able to fetch the data within a reasonable time, and that's when we would recommend that you can use the real-time reports. Optionally, instead of using save search, you can write your own CM query. That's also supported, but for simplicity, we say that use the save search. The second option is scheduled reports, where of course we recommend this for any save searches which is complex, takes time, and either brings in a loads of data. So there is a process to create a data object, configure the data object. This is a Magellan data object. Configure the Magellan data object to talk to that save search, schedule it with a frequency so that when this data object runs, the save search can take its own time, fetch the data, populate it, and post that when we create a report on this data object. Any report, any dashboard that we create will only pull the results from this data object data store. I will not pull it from the CM. So that's the difference between real-time reports and scheduled reports. I have a short demo on the real-time reports. Let me share my
So while Punya gets that up, I think you've understood that this reporting integration with open text intelligence, previously known as Magellan, is really the major feature of this 25.2 release. And like we said, it's included, no additional cost. And it's, as you saw with some of the screenshots of visual graphics, for those of you using the web UI or who install this, visual graphics to see your reporting to get you business intelligence. So I don't think you need a better reason to upgrade. This has been much requested for a long time, so we're really excited to give you this feature in this release.
I hope you're able to see the screen.
Yep.
Okay. So I think this should be familiar. This is the CM interface in which we have listed all the save searches. Now you can see we have added a column called unique identifier. That's important because that's the number that we will be using to remotely execute the save search and fetch the data into Magellan. So for the demo purpose, what we have done here is we have created a location save search and we have pulled in, we have added lots of columns. This is basically dependent on what you would want to pull, what you want to display. So just for demo purposes, we have pulled in all the columns and we will be creating a chart out of it. This is the analytics designer. And as I said, this is where we would configure the data source, the data sets, and we get to create the projects. So we can have different projects within a project. You can have different reports. So this is pretty versatile in that way. You can use one instance of analytics designer, one instance of Magellan to connect to multiple workgroup servers and be able to pull reports from all of the servers simultaneously. So it really depends on how you would want to use this. So what we do in this demo is we create a new workspace and we create a new project. We have gone ahead, played with this system a bit. So we have ended up creating 2 to 3 projects. So the one that I will be showing is a different project, not the demo 21st April. We have also created a 13th May project, much better looking. And once we create a project, we can right click on the project, go to new and click on report. we can choose to save the report in the default project location. So we give it a name called location save search. It creates a blank dashboard. Now, what we do with this after we create a report, we set the data sources, and then we'll get to define the data set. So create reports first, define the data source. The data source is basically our content manager plugin that we have installed beforehand. So Magellan supports several adapters to read from different sources, but with the instance that we are bundling with CM, uh, we are only licensed to use the content manager data source. So that's the fifth or sixth one here. Yeah, so that's the data source that we will need to select. Because it is talking to content manager, we need to select the content manager data source. We need to give the service API. I have to crop this because we are using internal IPs. We're using the trusted user authentication. So fill in the username passwords. We do not play with page size and do the test connection. Once it is successful, now we get to define what data it needs to pull. So we can give a data set name. Now, in this case, we know that we are pulling a location user type. So we give it a name location. In this page, in this query, this is the way we create the query. Now, we need to write the keyword execute save search 509, or we can choose to write the CM query here. I mean, that's an alternate method, but for simplicity, I would recommend us using the save search from CM. So if you remember, we saw the unique identifier for the location type save search was 509. That's what we are running here to fetch the data. So it pulls in the output columns. We can also preview the results. If I remember correctly, it had 37 columns that we had populated in the save search. So that's what it pulls successfully. Now, once that is done, this particular report has the data source and the data set defined. We can now go ahead and create a report or a dashboard, or a graph on this dashboard. In this case, we'll create a graph. We'll use a bar graph. And if you see, there are different chart types that can be defined. There's literally very granular information, manipulation of data that can be done. There is support for scripts and so on. So for the demo purpose, we'll keep it simple. We'll define the X and Y axis. The output format is HTML5. And in this case, we will show the count of location types. So here we select the unique identifier. We change the function from sum to count, and then we define the X axis for location type. So all of these are whatever you see in the category is pulled from the save search. Now, once we have this, we can give it a title. Fast forward this. Right. Once that is done, we can now run the report. So in my dashboard now, I have one representation of the location type and the count of it. So I have 4 different location types, and I have the count of the objects in each of the location types. So we are repeating the same stuff here. Now this time, instead of location type, we are pulling in user types. So we'll do the same stuff, unique identifier, count, and the user type. So follow the same steps, give it a title, and then run the report. So once we run the report, we would see 2 charts that is available, one showing the location types, one showing the user types. So there are different inventory dashboards that can be created for record tracking, for usage analysis, and so on. So here we see different user types and the number of users who's part of the user types. All right, so this is the basic dashboard creation. Once this is done, the administrator now needs to publish the reports. So they can right-click. Sorry, I'm jumping across screen. So they can right-click on the particular report and publish it. And publishing it, so if you can look at the destination here, this is where the different folders can come into picture. So if you have different departments, you can create those folders and save the published reports into those folders. Once that is done, you can actually play with the user access from the iHub, from the iPortal. So here we are publishing. So when we log into the iPortal, wherever we have published it, we get to view those reports, and we can give access to certain users, certain groups, and so on. So for the access part, I will probably share a screenshot. When I'm just looking at the time, so I'll probably just move into the screenshot now.
Yeah, thanks for a great demo, Punya, and I think we can see how this is the business intelligence dashboard that CM was missing.
I think there's the wrong window. Hold on, sorry.
I'll go ahead and publish the next poll while we wait.
Right. So once we have the users in place, we can use the system console to configure the LDAP settings. The LDAP settings are pretty much what Active Directory provides. You set the DN, set the import folder, pull in all the users from the Active Directory. Once that is part of Magellan, you can use those groups or users to give access for visibility. So if you can see the set of access functions here, so there is capabilities to make the reports visible, invisible, make it executable, not executable, and you can maximize your usage similar to what we have in security caveats. So even if there are users in particular groups, the group may have access to reports, but that particular user can be barred from running those reports. So it's very flexible the way we can provide the access rights to these reports. Okay, to just summarize what we saw, download, install the binaries, establish connections, set up the data source data sets, design, generate, and publish the reports, and import your business users from LDAP source into Magellan. I do have, we did play with this, and we did have a bunch of record inventory dashboards, retention dispersion dashboards. So this is really limited to business organization use cases. So I can show them here. Let me see if I yes.
So these are examples of reports that can be generated, right, with this new feature.
Right. We had created all of these dashboards. So what we see here is some of those dashboards I was talking about, record inventory dashboards, which is basically represented as a bar graph and a pie chart, where we collect the number of documents per record type. And then we have ingestion dashboard where we are tracking the, so that's the next one. So where we are tracking the different types of records created over a period of time. The record stacking dashboard is where we are able to show how many records at a particular point in time is checked out, how many are managed in place, checked in, and records which has no documents attached. So it's basically limited to what we can imagine and produce. This is just one dashboard, which is having so many different reports. And of course, you can enable interactivity, and you can play with the statistics. You can show the actual report from this dashboard, and you can manipulate those values to show you a different bar graph or a chart or a pie graph. So all of that is possible in this Magellan. So the
And
last one
Punya,
here,
we have a question here. Are any of these reports that you're showing, which are obviously great example use cases, are any of these canned reports included with the install, or should they just use these suggestions to set up something for them?
Yeah, so we don't have a canned report in this drop. The reports are easy to build. The reason why we don't have scanned reports is because you can literally create a safe search very quickly, very easily. And the only part which needs understanding is setting up the x-axis, y-axis. Everything else is pretty simple. So we don't have the canned reports in the first drop, but we can definitely think of adding a few in the future drops, just as an example. But yeah, for this first drop, we'll have to go with.
Yeah. I think we saw that they only take a few minutes to create, really. So it's just about getting the hang of the tool and then setting it up.
Thank you for attending the webinar today, and you guys have a great day.